Stained glass. I mean, it's beautiful. I had an old mansion in Minneapolis. It was 1875. Ended up when we were remodeling it and trying to make it into a fourplex from a mansion, it was ransacked, and all of those.
All right, here we go. I got a unique Minnesota property on Summit Avenue. Wait till you see this little log cabin.
Number one, I think people need to understand what Summit Avenue is. And Summit Avenue is like Mansion Row in St. Paul. Real big, grand homes that are out there. And people might be looking at this picture and saying, that's a cabin? In that neighborhood, yeah, that's probably a guest house. We got extra photos here. Yeah. I don't know. This is kind of a unique way in which to be able to kind of get into a neighborhood that you want without being a mansion. That is kind of a Tudor style. I think they're calling it a cabin because probably the size of it, pretty indicative of what you'd find in St. Paul. 1800 1875 to 1925 home with all the old woodwork. I mean, try installing that in a new home right there, Nick. Office is going to cost you $100,000 just in the trim work. Stained glass. I mean, it's beautiful. I had an old mansion in Minneapolis. It was 1875. Ended up when we were remodeling it and trying to make it into a fourplex from a mansion, it was ransacked, and all of those unbelievable pieces were stolen. Very frustrating, because that's really kind of what draws people to that St. Paul and Minneapolis area, and what raises those prices, and what makes it unique versus what we would maybe see in a Prior Lake or a Shakopee. You're going to see a totally different feel in Minneapolis and St. Paul. Yeah, it's really cool. I bet you there's a story to that. All the windows. What some people think is that it might be a little like a newer kitchen. They tried to update that area, kind of give it some newer amenities, keep some of the old flair, but grab some of the new stuff to be able to kind of how you want to function as an owner. This is a way in which you justify moving into maybe St. Paul. You don't want the old cupboards that are falling apart. You want new ones, but you kind of want to try to design them to that era. Would you call this a cabin, Nick? It's definitely because of the size of the home that
No,
they're
it's
doing in
coming.
there.
The cabin's coming.
Oh, there's a cabin. It's actually an extra little piece, is what you're telling me. Yeah, look at that updated bathroom. Love those ceilings. A lot of new construction tries to emulate these types of things with the new stuff, but they'll actually build those in to kind of make it look like that old era. Old claw tub. So it's just got a guest house is what it is. Oh, there we go. There it is. That's cool. How cool would that be? I bet you that would be an amazing Airbnb opportunity where people would love to be able to hang out there and kind of get that old in the woods type feel, but then walk out onto a sidewalk, a bunch of restaurants and arts and theater for sure. Oh, so it's on the back side of the garage. Interesting. They just added it on from the garage, from the alley side. So this is exactly what you're going to find on Summit Avenue. You're going to find super cool landscaping. Their yards aren't massive and the houses fill most of it. And so what they do for landscaping is very complementary to the home and useful. They use every little inch of it. So pretty cool. And look at that price. That's not a bad price. $950,000 for that extra. I mean, what a great place to be able to maybe throw your parents in there, if or an adult kid, to be able to be in that back cabin, if you will, on Summit Avenue. Real fun.